Welcome, everybody. My name is Jeff Gallant, Associate Director of Transfer Admission. I'm joined off screen by my colleagues, Amy, Danielle, Kristen, and Sue. And on behalf of the entire Office of Undergraduate Admission at Boston College, congratulations. And thank you for sacrificing time to learn more about the transfer process and the admissions process. I hope you're all doing well. I hope it's been a relatively normal year for all of you. I'll just start by saying it has been at BC, certainly more normal than the past couple of years. One reason for that is we had a very strict vaccination policy that continues. You need to be vaccinated to enroll at BC, so you should know that. But because of that step last summer and into this current academic year, we had limited community spread, which meant life returned. Traditions returned. We had recently our ALC Showdown, which is a great event on campus. It showcases the dance talent we have at BC. We have various student dance groups here at BC, and they have, again, a showcase, and it sells out our basketball and hockey arena. So that's a great event. We had 2 Boston marathons after the cancellation of the event. In the past couple of years, they ran an event, a smaller in scope event in October. And then in April, we had the traditional event, and it was supported by the students strongly. We had a concert for the students in addition. And if so you're not familiar with the Boston area, the Boston Marathon, it's a road race, but Boston College's campus is at mile 21. And so it's a nice day. Usually in April, the weather's really nice. And so it's just kind of a celebration of spring and the runners. And so that was a great thing for our students. Just last week, we had our Arts Fest, which showcased our artistic and musical talent at BC. It's known regionally. So we get people from off campus coming here. And so it was, just a great couple of days. And then sports have returned. As a Division I institution, we attract students who enjoy either competing at the varsity, club, or intramural levels, or spectating. And so the full game day experience is back. And that started with football in the fall and has continued now to currently in the spring as our defending NCAA championship women's lacrosse team starts off defending their title with the tournament starting soon. So I hope that's been the case for you. It's been a good year at BC, and we're optimistic about the future. And then this is a special transfer class. We received just over 2,400 applications, which is a significant increase over last year. It was a 13% admit rate as we're looking to enroll 125 students. I say this with all sincerity, and I don't think with hyperbole. I think students in this group represent some of the strongest college students in the world the last couple of years under less than ideal conditions. So congratulations on persevering. In addition to being great students, you all seem like great people who would enhance our community a number of ways. So this is the good time of year to be an admissions counselor, to be on the other side of what can be a stressful process. So congratulations to students, the admitted students, your families, your loved ones, everyone on this call today. We're excited to interact with you and help you make your decision. And just thank you for the time and consideration you're giving us to be your transfer choice. So I have some slides. I have 11 of them, but I'm going to move quickly through them. I anticipate this is going to take about 35 minutes. Amy, Danielle, Sue, Kristen, again, are offline. But if you want to ask questions, just click on the Q&A function at the bottom. And we'll try to answer as many questions as possible. They know the program. So if you ask a question that's not answered immediately, it might be because we're going to cover it later on in the webinar. But please feel free to ask questions. Okay, let's get started. All right, so to begin, just a little bit about Boston College, if you don't mind. Boston College is a religious affiliation. We're proud to be Catholic, And then more specifically, we're founded by the Jesuits. Boston College is one of 27 Jesuit Catholic institutions in the continental United States. A few things about the educational philosophy. You'll hear a couple different mottos that are important to Jesuit education. One is cura personalis, care for the whole person. And also we aim to educate men and women for others. So there's a great community focus to Jesuit education. There's also an emphasis on reflection. You as college students know your days aren't as structured as they were in high school. So we ask students key questions throughout their experience, both in the classroom, our professors do it, or community members outside of the classroom, asking students, what are you good at? Not what would you like to be good at, but what are you really good at? And does that thing make you happy? Does it bring joy to your life? To help them figure out what is the best fit major for them and later on their career before they get too far along with something that's not a good fit for them. And I do feel because of that emphasis on reflection, our students are more confident about their chosen path. Yeah, first academic in college and then professionally later on than maybe most. Honestly, students pick Boston College for a range of reasons. Location, size, academic reputation. I think not often is it because of our Jesuit affiliation. But we're going to graduate some great seniors in a couple of weeks. And I think every May, we end up graduating proponents of Jesuit education. They may not have known much about the tradition before, but as students here, they start to understand why the philosophy's flourished for as long as it has, for centuries, that it has an appeal to young people. And the Jesuit nature of Boston College becomes a more significant part of our students' experience than many of them anticipated. And we're happy to answer more questions about that characteristic of Boston College. We have 4 academic divisions. You were admitted into one of them. You applied to one of them. You were admitted into one of them. The Morrissey College of Arts and Sciences is the largest of the 4, followed by the Carroll School of Management, the Lynch School of Education and Human Development, and the Cannell School of Nursing. So you are enrolled in a school. There are opportunities to take coursework across schools. Often when students are asked why they chose Boston College, a common theme they often talk about is the perceived sense of balance that BC was going to be able to provide them that they sensed as prospective students. And maybe some of you are in that category. I think a couple characteristics about the university promote that sense of balance. One is our location. We're embedded in a neighborhood here in Chestnut Hill, and Chestnut Hill is in Newton, which is the first suburb outside of Boston. Part of our campus is in the city of Boston. It's in Brighton, which is the westernmost neighborhood of the city of Boston, but we're surrounded on 3 sides by nice neighborhood homes, and then a 4th side by a reservoir. You see the Boston skyline from various points around campus, so you're very much in the shadows of a city and you're close by. And then Boston is a place where people utilize public transportation. It's a small city land-wise, so it is a place where public transportation can be effective and utilized. And so the subway is right across the street, and that helps our students feel like the city is accessible to them. But at the same time, we provide students with that traditional residential campus experience. And then also we have 300 student organizations. One thing to know about BC in terms of the social dynamic on campus is that we don't have Greek life. We don't have fraternities and sororities. So maybe you've done this already to this point, but continue to do so. You certainly want to make sure we're a good academic fit for all of you. We have everything you want to major in, and you're satisfied in that way, but don't overlook the extracurricular piece because that's how students make friends here through clubs and organizations. And I think the fall is an especially good time to join our community. If you're beginning here as a sophomore, know that the freshmen, the first year students here, are on 2 separate campuses, Newton campus and Upper campus. And so This fall, for the first time, they're going to be together on main campus as sophomores. So I think it's a great time for a new person to start as a sophomore. And then any juniors that will be starting with us in the fall. I think it's also a good time for you because the programming for new students is really robust in the fall. It's a new academic year. It's a new beginning for everyone, no matter how long they've been here. So I think there are opportunities for students just coming into our community as transfer students in the fall. So a few things about housing to talk about here. You applied either as a resident or commuter student. Double check that you applied and were admitted to your correct choice. We admitted you into whatever you applied, and you'll be able to tell in your acceptance letter whether you were awarded on-campus housing or you applied as a commuter. So you were not awarded on-campus housing. Our housing policies for transfers is that we feel like it's important for you to start your BC experience on campus. So if you applied as a resident student, your first year, this upcoming year, 2022-2023 academic year, you have on-campus housing. After that, we cannot guarantee it. So for sophomores, the vast majority, almost all of our sophomores live on campus. So you'll be in step with your class this year. About half our juniors live off campus. So that is not an issue. You'll be off campus as a junior. And then so it will just be senior year that we cannot guarantee. Some years, transfer students who entered through the transfer process are able to live back on campus should they wish as seniors. But again, if you choose to enroll, you do so without that guarantee. Just the first year you can be on, we can guarantee you on campus housing. And then juniors, same sort of thing. You'd be on campus if you applied as a resident and you want to be. This upcoming academic year, we just cannot guarantee housing availability next year for you. So something to consider. And we do have sort of a residential culture at Boston College. Students, when they're admitted as freshmen, are awarded either 3 or 4 years of on-campus housing. Half our students get 3, half our students get 4. Students, for the most part, take what they're given. So they live on campus. If they have 4 years, all 4 years. In most cases, if they have 3, the culture is you live off campus junior year, as I kind of mentioned earlier. That's also a year where students will typically study overseas, but I'll talk more about that in a minute. So freshman, sophomore, on campus, the junior classes spread out, on campus, off campus, maybe in a foreign city for all or part of that year. But traditionally, most of our seniors come back on campus and live on campus for their senior year. So that's something to just think about. And then the cost of on campus versus off campus, if you're living off campus, you won't have the room and board costs associated with on-campus living. In some cases, the off-campus rents can be equivalent or comparable to room and board charges. Sometimes there's a little bit difference in both directions. The Office of Residential Life can help you sort that out, financial aid, or come to us. And we can't answer the correct question directly, but we can help you get the information you need. And I would just say, though, there's quite a surplus of inventory around as far as off-campus options close by. We run a shuttle system all through our off-campus areas, and everything's within, I would say, a mile of the main campus. So it's a BC shuttle. It just services the Boston College community. And then there are several stops along the T, which is our subway system, through all our off-campus areas. So most students find off-campus living very convenient. Let me go back and talk a little bit about studying overseas. I think that's an important item to consider for many transfer students. For the vast majority of transfer students, it's still a possibility. I'm biased, so you can give me credibility for the statement or not, but I would put our study overseas program, our global education program, up against any schools in terms of the variety of placements that you have to choose from, the variety of places you can go, and the advisement that you receive throughout the process. And the numbers back that up. About half our students will spend some time overseas. You see the numbers right there. As far as your options entering as a transfer student, and again, I go back to the culture at BC is that we do have summer programs that you can do any summer at BC. But if you're going to go during the academic year, the tradition at Boston College is that you go your junior year. A small percentage of students will go in the fall of their senior year, but I would say most, if they're going to go during the academic school year, they go junior year. So if you're going to enter BC as a first semester sophomore this upcoming fall, you're eligible for all programs, all semester programs as a junior next year, academic year 23-24. And if you wanted to, first semester senior year programs as well. If you're entering Boston College this fall as a second semester sophomore, you are also eligible for all programs academic year 23-24. So that would technically be to go overseas as a second semester junior or a first semester senior. Any juniors on the call tonight? You're not eligible for academic year programs. However, you're encouraged, certainly first semester sophomores, second semester sophomores, or first semester juniors to meet with the Office of Global Education to discuss options. Because what you would still be eligible for would be summer programs. And summer programs can be ideal for some students. They tend to be shorter in length than the traditional academic semester programs. And it might be a good option for you. So studying abroad, even as a first semester junior, may be possible, not during the academic year, but maybe during the summer months. So let's talk a little bit about academic advising. You will go to an in-person orientation session, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes this summer. Academic advising here is faculty-based. You have a faculty-assigned academic advisor, and they'll work with you throughout the semester, but you'll certainly meet with your faculty advisor before our registration periods, which are twice a year, to help you register for the upcoming semester. The academic advising system does differ a bit between divisions. So in Morrissey, within the dean's office, one of the deans is specifically assigned to be a resource for students who enter through the transfer process. And that's Professor Trace Answorth. So that'll be a name to get to know. And Trace is awesome. She's a great resource. She's very student-centered and a great resource for our undergraduates. So the work of Trace and your faculty advisor will be supplemented by, we have a full academic advising center, which works with first-year students in the Morrissey College of Arts and Sciences. So students that are new to BC as freshmen or transfers, and they're staffed by a team of professionals to help you with the advising process. The Carroll School of Management advising is handled by the undergraduate dean's office. So there are a number of members of that office that you'll get to know. That's an excellent staff. And I think they'll be really helpful resources for the students that are in the Carroll School of Management. The Lynch School of Education and the Connell School of Nursing, also their dean's offices take an active role in student advising. The contact person for Lynch School of Education Human Development students is Professor Maureen Raymond. So that'll be a name and a person that you get to know. And then in the Connell School of Nursing, it's Professor Mary, but she goes by Colleen Simonelli. If you find a professor that you click with a few semesters into BC, certainly it's common for students to shift advisors from their assigned advisor to somebody that they've really formed a connection with. That's definitely possible. So know that it is academic advising in terms of who you choose to be your academic advisor can be fluid. So let's talk a little bit about transferring in coursework. So our curriculum is, and our courses are divided into really 3 categories. So we have a university core curriculum, 15 semester-long courses in 10 different subject areas in the liberal arts that every student at BC has to take across the 4 years to graduate from BC. So it's up to you when you fulfill these core. You know, there are definitely seniors that still are taking some core classes. And then just know, you know, we're a medium-sized to larger school. One thing you get with that is increased academic variety, both at the major level and then in terms of the catalog of courses available to fulfill major requirements and core requirements. So for almost every core area, you have a number of courses to choose from. And then you have your major, and then you have electives. We in the admissions office, when we admitted you, we took a look at your transcript, and we can do a couple of things. We can say that your courses from your previous institution count towards your total graduation requirements. And the traditional schedule at BC is students take 5 3-credit classes each semester, in the fall semester and the spring semester. So a total of 10 classes for 30 credits a year. So that equals out to 120 credits across all 4 years. So we took your classes and we said, all right, these classes will count towards your total amount. And we gave you that information in your explanation letter. So that's the first thing you should look at in your explanation letter. Are you satisfied? Do you have any questions about how many total credits we awarded you? From there, we can go one step further with that. We can say a specific course you took at your previous institution fulfills one of these core university core requirements, one of these 15 semester-long courses in the 10 different subject areas. And you'll see that on your degree audit that we matched a specific course you have with one of our university core requirements. For all your other classes that were counted for credit, we just put them in as electives for right now. And what will happen over the summer, beginning at orientation, is that you'll work with faculty, academic advising, and the Office of First Year Experienced Staff. And that's the group at BC that coordinates orientation to slot your remaining elective courses into a major. We wait on this for a couple of reasons. One, just like at your schools right now, you're probably in finals or you just got done finals. Like our faculty need to be focused on finishing the semester. So we ask for your patience in slotting your remaining classes. The key information that's missing right now will be what you did in those classes. So you're probably going to have to get, we're probably going to ask you for syllabi from all of your classes. And if we ask for that as prospective students, one, that's a ton of paperwork. That's a lot for you to gather. We're not going to ask it for all prospective students or admitted students. Once we have you as an enrolled group, we begin that process over the summer. But I would just say as a starting point right now, if you feel good about what we state in your explanation letter, and the information we gave you in your explanation letter is your transfer level. So are you coming in as a first semester sophomore, a second semester sophomore, a first semester junior? I think that's the vast majority of this group. We might have a second semester freshman. Then that's a good starting point. We also gave you your projected graduation term and the number of credits. One thing for any first semester juniors on here, there's a rule at Boston College. You have to complete 2 full academic years at BC to earn a BC degree. So we cannot exceed 60 credits. You're allowed to transfer 60 credits to BC, but you can't exceed that, even if you've taken more than that previously. I hope all that makes sense. So I just talked a little bit about the explanation letter. I'm going to show you an example of a degree audit, which we also sent to you, but I'll show you the version that you would see as a BC student on the next slide here. AP scores. So some of you may be transferring from schools where you got credit for AP. We don't award credit for advanced placement, but we do assign placement. You earn placement out of university core requirements. So pretty much across the board, if you have any 4s or 5s on AP scores, and our complete AP policy, so what individual scores earn you at BC is on the website. You just type in advanced placement policy, Boston College, you'll find it. Pretty much across the board, it's a 4 or 5. You can achieve language proficiency with 3s. So if you pick us this summer, send us your AP scores officially. And what we'll do is we'll apply that to your audit. So you'll see that placement and you'll fulfill core areas. So you're not gaining credit. It doesn't reduce the total number of classes that you need to take at BC to graduate, but you get added flexibility in your 4-year program, more space to study the courses that you want to take, and maybe more flexibility to have a second major or minor. So please send us your AP scores this summer. In progress courses, you'll see some courses listed on your degree audit that are IP. Those are current classes. So as soon as you have a final transcript, please send it our way. We actually need it before registration in the winter for the spring semester. We need your final transcript. Hopefully you'll get it to us before then. Maybe something you can do this summer. I think the longer you wait, the more a hassle it could be. So if we end up being your choice, please just send us your final college transcript as quickly as you can. And then we'll reconcile the grades that you get in your classes this semester and add them to your BC record. One thing worth noting right here is that your GPA does not follow you to BC. So it gained you admission, and the GPAs of this group are very strong, but you'll start back at 0.0, a new GPA at Boston College. One thing to know about philosophy and theology. So some of you are at Catholic institutions similar to BC, and maybe you've taken multiple philosophy and multiple theology classes. Boston College feels so strongly in our philosophy and theology departments that we ask that you only transfer one in. So no matter how much previous philosophy coursework or theology coursework you've taken, you will still have to take one philosophy and one theology. You're only going to fulfill half the core requirement, which is 2 semesters in each subject through transfer coursework. You'll still have to take a philosophy and a theology at BC. And then just a quick note about economics. Anybody who's taken both micro and macro, we used to teach both courses separately here. Now we have a joint class. So if you're transferring in micro and macro economics, what you'll see on your audit is that you'll get credit for our combined class, which is ECON 1101. And then you will get an elective course credit within the economics department. So you're getting 2 courses worth of credit for your micro and macro, but it might be a little confusing on the audit. And just know that that's what's happening. We took your micro and macro, we put it together for a combined class. And then you have economics elective, but you've only fulfilled half the social science requirement, core requirement. We, again, like philosophy and theology, you have to take 2 semesters of social science as part of our core, our university core. And so you would still need to take another social science class at BC. All right. If you have micro or macro, that counts for one of the social sciences. So I wanted to just show you quickly. So this is what you would see on the student side once you're a student at BC. We sent you a degree audit document. It's still a work in progress as far as sending it to admitted students. So hopefully it was helpful. If you have any questions, just let us know. But when you pull up your record at BC, your total credits will first appear up here. This should never exceed 60 for an incoming student, as we talked about. A first semester junior would not be granted more than 60. So when you look at your degree audit that you receive from us, it shouldn't be above 60. Because we can't go over 60, some of you might be at 59 or 58, even though you had more than 60, and we just couldn't figure out a way at first glance to get all the courses to get you right to 60, but we're happy to have that conversation. We're happy to work with you to try to get you to 60. If you choose BC and you're at 58 or 59, we have plenty of 1 credit classes that you can take, or 2 credit classes to catch up to where you would be at the end of your sophomore year as a first semester junior, had you started at BC from the beginning. And then on your degree audit, your courses in progress will always be listed here. So moving forward, any course that you're currently in will be listed there. And then so the next section of the degree audit will be the core areas, and you get a sense of how we've started to try to do this. If you have any questions about a class that you feel like should count for core, you'll talk to us before June 1st or afterwards. You can still talk to us, but you also can talk to the other members of the BC community. But green means that you fulfilled the core requirement. Blue means you will, but you're still taking the class. And then red is still the requirement still needs to be fulfilled. And then the section after this is where it outlines your major requirements. So I talked a little bit about orientation. Orientation is the summer. We'll show you the date on the next slide. But once you enroll at Boston College, in about 24 to 48 hours after you enroll, your portal access will change and you will get new links popping up. And one of them will be to register for your orientation session. And FYE does a great program. I think they are cognizant of the fact that you've already done orientation. So the way they run the program, it's extremely relevant to transfer students. You get to meet some people, but the big thing is that your academic advising sessions and your course registration will happen this summer for the fall. So it's important to be engaged with that process. And then hopefully you come out of orientation feeling good about your fall semester courses. We do have a drop add period, 10 days to start the semester where you can shop classes a little bit, but you should feel good, hopefully, coming out of orientation that your classes for the fall are set. And again, you feel confident in them. But the Office of First Year Experience will be a good contact for you this summer, and there's how to reach them. So here are some key dates, next steps coming up. The Transfer Admitted Eagle Day, we're having an in-person event. It's on May 19th. It's a week from today. We've had strong registration. We're at capacity right now. So for anybody who's registered for that, if your plans change, will you please go on and cancel so that we have a waiting list right now so that others can take advantage of the opportunity. So we look forward to welcoming you on the 19th. If it doesn't work for you to attend 19th, but you're going to be on campus, you'll let one of us know. We'll make every effort within reason to spend some time with you if that would be helpful to you making your decision. If you're going to be on campus, or we can connect with you virtually as well. Our enrollment deadline is June 1st. So that's the deadline to make your decision. Your housing forms, and once again, your FYE orientation information. After you deposit, check your portal within 24 to 48 hours. I think you'll see some new links. Your registration session, your orientation session registration period is July 24th through the 26th. And then the first day of classes will be Monday, August 29th. Here is our contact information. I'll stop sharing in a minute, and I'll share my contact information. I just want to reassure you about classes. It sounds like a lot. We have 15 semester-long courses in the core. I would say major on average is 14 or 15 classes. So every student here at BC, even if they don't have any AP qualifying scores, has probably 10 or 11 courses built in to play around with as electives, as students take 40 total courses, 120 credits over 4 years. So the curriculum is flexible, and it's a reason why transfer students have been so successful. I'm going to stop the share right now. And I know I speak for Amy and Danielle and Sue and Kristen, combined, we've seen hundreds, maybe even thousands, given how long some of us have been here, of students who entered BC through the transfer process and have gone on to thrive. And they've enjoyed really successful undergraduate experiences here. And I go back to the seniors that we're going to graduate in a few weeks. There's a good cohort of students who entered through the transfer process among this group. And that's the case every year. And I would hope that if you polled the seniors, they'll tell you it certainly feels like they've been here the whole time. Their previous institution and their transfer process seems like a distant memory at this point, preparing for commencement and graduation. So it will be a transition period if you choose us or transfer anywhere. But I think there are a lot of resources at your disposal, especially here at BC. There are a lot of people that want to help you. And by utilizing those resources, you're certainly going to shorten that transition period and acclimate very, very quickly to BC and enjoy a really good experience. So a few quick final reminders. There's a Facebook group that people seem to be active on right now. So it's a good way to get to know people that might be your potential classmates starting in the fall. There's a button in your portal that you can click to join that. Reach out to us as needed. I'm going to put my email address in here. Let us know if we can answer any questions. But I imagine some of you are pretty busy. You're in finals maybe right now, or just done with finals. I hope you can enjoy this a little bit. We've created great options because of your hard work. So congratulations once again to the students on this call, to the families, to the loved ones. Best wishes making your decision. Thank you for the thoughtful consideration you're giving BC. Let us know if we can do anything to help, and hopefully we'll talk again. All right. Thank you everybody for joining us this evening. Take care.